Hello everybody and welcome back here to IndySportsCrew.com. I'm Thad Van Devenen. Different location for you tonight here at the homestead in Greenwood, but here we're still focused on sports even though the decorations behind me don't say so. But with college basketball now wrapping up here this weekend with the Final Four taking place in Atlanta and all of the Indiana teams are out of the tournament, it's time now to turn our focus anyway, to the Indiana Pacers. There's just 7 regular season games remaining for the Pacers, who right now are in first place in the Central Division. They're 48-27 overall. Now think about this. This is a team that started the season 4-7. Obviously, since then, 44-20. That's a 68% winning percentage, nearly 69% winning percentage. Right now, they're technically third in the Eastern Conference by percentage points behind the Knicks. They're trying to basically work themselves through these final 7 games into where they want to be for the playoffs as far as seeding, and then more importantly, probably who their matchup's going to be in that first round. Things could shake out a couple different ways depending on if the Pacers are the 2 or the 3 seed in the East. They've already basically got the Central Division on lockdown, so that one's a given. So they're going to be a top 3 seed. It's just going to be determined on if they're 2 or 3 with the Knicks. That also could change depending on how the bottom of the East turns out. You know, there's basically 3 teams there that the Pacers could match up against in their first round. It'd be Atlanta, Chicago, or even Boston. Boston's pretty well locked into the 7, looks like right now. As it currently sits, Atlanta would be the 5, Chicago would be the 6, Boston would be the 7. So if you're the 2 seed, you'd get Boston. If you're the 3 seed, you'd get Chicago right now. Now, does it really matter to the Pacers who they play, or are they just trying to play their best ball to close out the season? I think it does matter a little bit. I think getting the 2nd seed is a big deal for the Pacers because, yeah, you're going to have home court advantage in that first round regardless. But what you want to make sure of is that you have home court advantage in the second round. If the Knicks are able to get by whoever they face up against in the first round, you want to host 4 games at home against New York rather than go to the Garden 4 times. So I think that's a big deal. That's not a guarantee that the Knicks get out of the first round. I think they will. They're playing a lot better with Kenyon Martin in the lineup. Who knew? Carmelo lately has been going off. He scored 50 points the other night. So against the Heat team, though, without LeBron, without Mario Chalmers, and I think D. Wade set that one out as well. So you're looking at the Pacers right now. I think they're shooting for that 2nd seed. They want to get home court advantage throughout until they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if they make it there, obviously they're probably looking at the Miami Heat. So that's a big deal. As far as the 3 teams they could match up with, I think they probably match up the best with Chicago, even though they play the exact same style. Boston's a little bit tricky. They have some, wily veterans, I guess you would say, in Pierce and Garnett that can really cause problems. And, they got a lot of pride and they're going to want to win. So I think that one would be the trickiest. I think Atlanta and Chicago, the 2 best matchups for the Pacers in the first round. More importantly than that, though, I think this is probably the biggest thing happening for the Pacers as they come down the stretch, as I said, with just 7 games to go. And that's how, basically, Big Roy got his groove back. It's unbelievable. The first half of the season through the All-Star break, everyone continued to talk about how Big Roy was struggling. He made the All-Star team last year. He played in the All-Star game. He signed the huge contract in the offseason because the Pacers needed to keep him. He's he's a weapon in the Eastern Conference that nobody else has. And by nobody else, I specifically mean the Miami Heat. They don't have a big guy like Roy Hibbert. So you had to keep him. And with him struggling in the first half of the year, it didn't seem like the Pacers were ever in sync. Everyone was still thinking about when Danny Granger's going to come back. So lately, Big Roy has been unbelievable. I want to thank 8 points 9 seconds, the blog you can find on the True Hoop Network or through ESPN.com for some statistics here. In the last 12 games, Roy Hibbert's averaging 18 points a game, and that's compared to a season average of 11.6 points per game. He's been rebounding at a clip of about 10 a game, which is a little bit up, so he's still averaging 8 rebounds a game, and he's averaging 2 blocks per contest. So he's really taken over down low, and that's huge right now with the news that Granger's going to miss the rest of the season. He had season-ending knee surgery. You probably didn't expect him to be 100% in the playoffs, and you couldn't work a guy into the playoff rotation. So with Big Roy playing like this, that's a big factor for the Pacers, as now you have Paul George, you have David West as your 1-2 punch, and then you have a guy in the East, like I stated before, in Roy Hibbert, that no one else has. He's a defender of the basket. You know, the Pacers are number one in the league in points against average and number one in the league in rebounding. That's all you need to know right now as they try to get into the playoffs and advance. And that's their biggest key. That's their biggest advantage against the Heat moving forward in this, is that they can dominate down low where the Heat can't. Yeah, it's going to be tough to guard LeBron and Dwayne Wade. We saw that last year. The Pacers did take him to 6 games. They gave him the best test of anyone, really, in the playoffs last year, including in the finals against the Thunder. But that's what the Pacers are going to need. And with Roy Hibbert playing like this, they have a real chance to advance and get to those Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll see if anything can happen. But for right now, the Pacers are really happy that Big Roy has found his groove. Thanks for coming to IndySportsCrew.com, and we'll see you again next time.